Please Please remain standing while we sing the national anthem, which will be played by the Bishop Carroll Band. Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars with the perilous fight o'er the battles we Please remain standing for the invocation, which will be led by Sister Charmaine Grillo, Superintendent of Schools for the Diocese of Altoona, Johnstown.
Praised be to you, God, Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has bestowed on us all many spiritual and material blessings. Praised be to you, God, who has brought these graduating seniors to the completion of their high school. And praise be to you, God, who has bestowed on these young men and women so many wonderful gifts and talents, gifts of mind and body and soul, life and vitality, the love of parents, relatives, and friends, opportunity for education, challenge, and discovery, the devotion of faculty, administration, and staff, the care and guidance of the church, and a future full of hope. This is why tonight we take the time to praise and thank you, God, for your unfailing kindness and love, especially as we see it in the person of your Son, Jesus. This is why tonight we ask you to send the gift of your Holy Spirit on these young men and women as they end a phase of their lives and they continue on their journey toward you. We ask you on their behalf, give them a spirit of wisdom and insight to know you more clearly. Strengthen them inwardly through the working of your Spirit. May Christ dwell in their hearts through faith, and may charity be the root and foundation of their lives. To you, God, whose power is now at work in these graduating seniors and in each of us, to you, God, who can do far more than we ever think about or imagine, to you, God, be glory and praise and thanks, now and forevermore. Amen.
Thank you, Sister. Please be seated. John Q. Dum will now give us the salutatory address.
Salvite. Good Abends. Bonsoir. Buenas noches. Good evening. Now you know that at the very least, after 4 years at Bishop Carroll, you can greet people in 4 languages other than English. But so what? I'm sure most people here tonight can speak English. So, did I do this merely to impress you? Yes. Tonight, we, the class of '88, can be proud of our accomplishments, and we should brag a little. It's our night, and we've worked hard to make it here. Truthfully, I didn't come up here tonight to brag. There is a point connected to my exotic salutation. A few weeks ago, a good friend of mine suggested that I open my speech with greetings from many languages. I thought about it, and I realized the significance it would have. Anyone who knows me knows that my talents lie in math and science. Opening with foreign greetings is out of character for me, since it demands that I use my less developed skills. You may not think that 4 phrases would be hard to learn, but for a person who often has difficulty pronouncing English words, it was a task. Enough of a task that I settled for 4 greetings, not many. Still, why did I do it at all? Why didn't I settle with good evening? Learning those greetings called me beyond my talents. It broadened my mind. It made me more diverse. Diversity is something our class can understand, for we've seen it almost every day for the last 4 years. Over those years, we've come to realize how diverse our class truly is. When you look at the class of '88, you see star athletes, talented writers, gifted actors and actresses. You see people able to win recognition in activities like band, the mock trial, forensics, and the computer competition. You see storytellers and jokers, artists, and even a cartoonist. You see people who found something they do well and who enjoy developing their skills further. Surrounded by such diversity, people often pull away from others, putting up walls of disinterest. They form tight little cliques and ignore everything but that which concerns them. They refuse to broaden themselves. However, with our class, that hasn't happened. Truly, everyone has that little cluster of friends with which to spend time, but those walls of disinterest aren't there. Our groups share some common threads, whether it is a good joke or concern about an upcoming competition. I felt this unity whenever I would walk through the cafeteria. I would go from group to group and feel at ease among any one of them. Sometimes I would see two people whose interests seemed totally incompatible, and yet they would be striking up a good conversation. This is the point I want to make. Our class, filled with diverse talent, is united as a class. This unity exists because everyone has some gift that has brought us together. Also, just as I allowed myself to be broadened by those 4 greetings, everyone opened themselves to the differences among classmates and allowed themselves to be broadened by those differences. As we leave Bishop Carroll tonight and enter a world full of much greater diversity, we should remember our class. We should remember the way we accepted the differences of others and how we expanded our world to include them. Hopefully, by doing this, we will find unity among whatever groups we are in the future. Hopefully, this will help us to find peace.
Bishop Joseph Adamak of the Altoona Johnstown Diocese will now address the student body.
Thank you. Thank you. You needed that stretch, huh? Sister Charmaine, Father Carson, graduates of 1988 from Bishop Carroll High School, faculty, parents, friends, sisters and brothers. I don't know how I'm going to follow John Q. I think I should just leave it at that. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm very happy to be here. I surmise that you are too. So that it gives me an opportunity to congratulate you on the achievement that you have reached. 4 years of study, graduating, ready to take on the world. And I wish you well. I wish the Lord's blessing upon you in that endeavor. Commencement speakers usually, at least they give you the impression often enough that when they come to be with you, they have come to give you the key to world success, give you some insight on how to make it in the world. Like the one speaker who, coming into the auditorium, was inspired by what he saw on the door as he was coming in. It said, push. He pushed the door in to get inside. Sign there, push. He says, that's what you need. To get along in the world and to make something of yourself. That's what you need. What's written on that door. Look at it. They looked. On this side said, pull. Thank you. I'm not here to tell you how to make it in the world. I'm here to tell you how to make it in eternity. I have a formula for you which seems to be secret. But not because the Lord wanted it to be secret. It's that it's so simple. We don't take it seriously, and so nobody talks about it a whole lot. And if we do, we kind of talk about it on the surface as something that we talk about only an hour per week type of thing. If the apostles, along with the other first followers of Jesus Christ, experienced anything that could be compared to a commencement, I think, believe it or not, it must have been the crucifixion. Jesus' death on the cross. His execution. That was the commencement. I don't mean to infer by that, by the way, that the 4 years in high school need to be something like the way of the cross, even though parts of it might compare. However, it was the crucifixion, along with the resurrection, that changed things, as commencement does in your lives. It changed the apostles, who in turn were to change the world. And the crucifixion as well as commencement. As you leave Bishop Carroll High School, was followed, in your cases may be followed by a period of confusion. What now? Where now? Period of disillusionment. I thought it's different. It was the event which made living a life of reality possible. Now, St. Paul tells us through his letter to the Christians who were living in Corinth that he, that is Jesus, died for all so that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who for their sakes died and was raised up. Let me repeat that for you. He, that is Jesus, died for all, so that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who for their sakes died and was raised up. Now, these words reflect St. Paul's own extraordinary experience on the way to Damascus when he was knocked off of his high horse. When Jesus appeared to him and talked to him and called him, Paul was taken in by Christ, taken in by him, by what he had to offer in that powerful encounter which he had with Jesus. The impact was Jesus' irresistible love. Remember what Paul was doing in those times. He was persecuting the Lord's people. And the love that Jesus extended to him in his condition completely transformed him. Now, in your quest, and life is a quest, you don't ever arrive till the last day. In your quest for a destiny, in your search for a meaning and a purpose for your life, why am I here? In your search for that, I remind you not to forget that destiny and that purpose of your life which overrides and outlasts all others and all those that the world suggests to you. Jesus gave his life in order to make of us like himself, to communicate to us his own life, and to form us into instruments of his love for others. That's our destiny. That's our purpose for living. That's why we're here. That's why you have your education. That's why you're graduating. That's why you're going into the world. To be even a sign, not to even mention being an instrument, like we're told we are called to be. To be even a sign of such a force which is powerful enough to transform our society is to serve as a countersign to those forces that work in the world which deny reality and lull us into a dream world. A lot of the stuff with which we're bombarded is fake, but it sounds nice. And it lulls us into a nice, easy feeling, a dream world. That will never do anything for anyone, including ourselves. I'm speaking of those forces in the world which would have us treat our very existence, would have us treat our very lives as something that's cheap, as something that's temporary, as something that's just another thing to be thrown away after we get done using it for ourselves, pretty much the way we throw away a plastic container. The forces in the world would have us believe that's all there is to it, that's all life is. Wrong. And yet, that feeling, that type of living is out there, and we don't have to think very hard or very long to realize the truthfulness of what I just said. Anti-life, what is against the dignity, the reality of life, those forces that are there telling us that life is not important, are so strong, their presence is so strong in the world today that we are dangerously, extremely dangerously, taking them for granted, as if that's ordinary, that's normal, of course, yeah, that's life. Or rather, it isn't. Whether it is the killing of the innocent before birth, or the execution of the presumed guilty in prison, whether it is the constant bickering that goes on in some of our family homes, or the waging of wars by nation against nation, whether it is the individual or corporation takeover of others, whether it is the destructive use of drugs in regard to self, or the wanton use of sex in regard to others, or any one of a whole list of things, life is not being given the value that was intended by the Creator. So, it's time for the big revolution. It's time to change things. And you, as the young women and men going out into the world to be leaders, can do it. Not only can you, you must. The words which St. Paul addressed to the community of believers at Corinth are addressed to us. They're addressed to you, they're addressed to me, they're addressed to those people up there. We, you, are challenged to be different. And you're challenged to be different by allowing your lives to reflect not what the world out there has for you, but to reflect the life of God Himself, the life which God gave you, and which you received at the time of your baptism and initiation into His very own community. We call it the church. You are invited to join those who recognize the excitement of directing their energies for an ideal which lasts, which can reshape society, and which has eternity as its goal. That's exciting. Not the things that come and pass away in a week or two or a month or a year. It does require a price. We go out to the world seeking work, seeking a profession, and one of the first questions we ask is, what's it going to pay me? This profession, this calling does not pay, it requires payment. And the payment is, the price is to no longer live for ourselves, but for Jesus. If you can call that a price. It's a privilege, according to me, not really a price. And you have what it takes to bring about that revolution of love which Jesus came on earth to launch. A community of concern for each other, of caring for each other, a community of brothers and sisters, to be a new people, to change the world around and society, humanity, to be a new people, builders of that new world for which Jesus gave His life. In that same letter, Paul says the following, and it can be applied and should be applied to us, in a special way to you, as you take this step in your lives. No longer, then, do we judge anyone by human standards. Now, isn't that different? Even at one time, if we judge Jesus Christ according to human standards, we no longer do so. When anyone is joined to Christ, he is and she is a new being. The old is gone. The new has come. All this is done by God, who through Christ changed us from enemies into his friends. How do you treat your friends? And he gave us the task of making others his friends as well. Our message is that God was making all men and women his friends through Christ. God did not keep an account of their sins, and he has given us the message which tells how he makes them his friends. Here we are then, speaking for Christ, as through God himself, as though God himself were making his appeal through us. We plead, and I plead on Christ's behalf, you graduates of 1988 from Bishop Carroll High School, let God change you. You, along with the apostles, along with these people, and along with me, are empowered. You have the power to change the world. You're empowered by the very love of Jesus Christ, of which, in your 4 years of education at Bishop Carroll, you have been made abundantly aware. Godspeed.
Thank you, Bishop Joseph. You've given us many fine thoughts upon which to dwell. As we present the graduates of 1988, we ask that you hold your applause until every graduate has received his diploma. The diplomas will be presented by Bishop Joseph Adamek and Father Stanley Carson, principal of Bishop Carroll High School. Lynn Marie Sherry. Lorraine Marie Schrenkel. Melissa Ann Maruka. Sharon Lynn Fenchak. Lori Ann Niebauer. Sandra Lynn Simmers. Nora Lynn Mianchik. Kimberly Ann Trotsky. Janice M. Himmel. Joy Lynn Hagans. Kirsten M. Berkey. Patrice Lynn Rilke. Natalie Ann Eckenrod. Julia R. Cronin. Stephanie Michelle Slavic. Lynn Ann Shope. Linda R. Werfel. Deborah M. Lee. Jean Marie Heinrich. Justina L. Farbaugh. Jennifer Alice Bentley. Beth Bradley. Sandra M. Brawley, Kathleen J. Bynack, Sarah J. Duryea, Rebecca Ann Pershing, Lene Marie Pauley, Susan A. Monahan, Marcia Lynn Van Zura, Heidi M. Stowen, Faye R. Hoover, Vicki L. Hodge, Rebecca Ann Smith, Jennifer Lynn Gallagher, Nicole Marie Frank, Christy Lynn Beck, Kimberly Michelle Patrick, Charlene Louise Natcher, Leah Adrian Wetchler, Maria Christine Martinezzi, Georgette Ann Weiland, Barbara J. Kohler, Diane Marie Kane, Kimberly Ann Snyder, Meg Ann Frunheiser, Ann M. Frank, Annette J. Finn, Angela A. Anna, Catherine Teresa Murray, Shirley Marie Long, Claudia Frances Tenorowicz, Tiffany Marie Casey, Cynthia Ann Oyaski, Mary Hope Zakreski, Marilyn Rose Washington, Karen M. Crisco, Cynthia Marie Cunningham, Suzanne Marie Panic, Richard T. Illig, Todd Neal Stager, Christian J. Rezick, Eric M. Petrunik, Jeffrey Paul McAvoy, Mark T. Cordish, Lawrence A. Filak, Jr., Charles L. Tremmel, John D. Papetti, Martin A. Kirsch, Brian Saylor, Craig Joseph Zamboni, David Godfrey McMahon, Matthew D. Kirsch. Brian Michael Elias. Francis L. Eckenrod. Thomas Michael Stock. Walter J. Zemrose. Mark J. Weichsel. Vincent R. Toth. James Douglas Scrout. Edward J. Merciak. Benjamin J. Mullen. Paul Joseph McDermott. Russell G. Long. Paul James Golden. Brian Joseph Gurgley. James V. D'Oliveira. Robert Michael Biter. John Francis Werfel. Eric R. Krug. Jeffrey Thomas Bazilko. Stephen D. Shook. Christopher J. Plummer. John J. Golden, Jr. Eric Sean Ferfari. John Q. Dum. Thomas E. Biller. Theodore Samuel Stoy. Samuel R. Stevens. Mark J. Ratchford. Richard A. Borowski. Thomas James Wolfe, Jr. Craig Charles Sponsky. Craig Anthony McNulty. Gregory Matthew Klein. Brian F. Hoover. Thomas Patrick Christ. Timothy Paul Craney, Jr. Thomas M. Cicatello. John Anthony Weiland. Brian Kevin Lawton. Sean Philip Kylan. Eric John Zeglin. John Paul St. Pierre. Anthony John Seymour. Christopher Lawrence Kordek. Eric J. Ruzai. Daniel J. Long. Jude Long. Carl M. Kirsch. The Academic Excellence Awards in subject areas will be presented by Sister Charmaine Grillo. In the area of religion, the award is donated by Monsignor Bernard Prisbaki, Sacred Heart of Jesus Parish in Portage. The award is given to Annette J. Finn. Next in merit, Christy Lynn Beck. In the area of English, the award is donated by Reverend Paul M. Robine of St. Aloysius Parish in Crescent. The award is given to Sean Philip Kylan, and next in merit, John Q. Dum. In the area of mathematics, the award is donated by Reverend Monsignor Arnold Gauss of Holy Name Parish, Ebensburg. The award is given to Linda R. Werfel, and next in merit, John Q. Dum. In the area of social studies, the award is donated by Reverend Daniel Wolfel of St. Nicholas Parish, Nicktown. The award is given to Sean Philip Kylan, next in merit, John D. Papetti. In the area of business, the award is donated by Reverend John J. Palco, St. Mary's Parish, Gallitzin. The award is given to Sandra M. Brawley. In the area of Spanish, the award is donated by Reverend William Rosensteel, St. Patrick's Parish in Gallitzin. The award is given to Annette J. Finn. Next in merit, Linda R. Werfel. In the area of Latin, the award is donated by Reverend Adalbert Wolski, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Barnesboro. The award is given to Christy Lynn Beck, and next in merit, John Q. Dum. In the area of French, the award is donated by Reverend George Valco, St. Michael's Parish, Loretto. The award is given to Sean Philip Kylan, and next in merit, Eric Sean Verfari. In the area of Votech, the award is donated by Reverend Monsignor Joseph Weidman, St. Michael's Parish, Loretto. The award is given to Diane Marie Kane, and next in merit, Janice M. Himmel. In the area of science, the award is donated by Reverend John Neugebauer, St. Mary's Parish, Nantiglow. The award is given to Robert Michael Biter, and next in merit, Kimberly Ann Snyder. In the area of fine arts, the award is donated by Reverend Martin Single, Most Holy Redeemer Parish, Revlock. The award is given to Christy Lynn Beck, and next in merit, Tiffany Marie Casey. Congratulations to all our winners. We shall now listen to the valedictory address, which will be given by Sean Philip Kylan.
Bishop Adamek, Sister Charmaine, faculty and staff, honored guests. On behalf of my classmates and myself, I thank you for sharing these commencement exercises with us. Each member of the class of 1988 has, I'm certain, much personal thanks to extend to you, but please allow me to extend a very general gratitude for the support which has been present consistently since our freshman year. We welcome you here not as spectators or as an impersonal audience, but as family and friends who deserve and partake in our recognition as much as we do. I regret to say that the church lady was unable to attend this evening. She strained her voice singing novenas that we all would graduate this evening. However, I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to do something this evening that I've never done in public before. No, I'm going to tell you what I really think, Mrs. Sloat. And as frightening as that may sound, I promise to be brief. First, I think that the primary purpose of an education is to set people free from ignorance, to broaden their perspectives, and to enlighten their minds so that they may make effective choices regarding their lives. Good schools encourage this attitude, and Bishop Carroll is a good school. The Bishop Carroll education is accomplished on a student-by-student basis. The school is not in the business of mass-producing uniform, complacent brains or narrow, unchallenged beliefs. We, in all of our diversity, are proof of that. Last year, in my Why I Love BC essay, I wrote, "There is a zest for the development of the unusual talent, a meticulous attention to the detail of the intellect, the body, and the personality. There is a positive force here, contributed to by many, that evolves each of its charges to personal fulfillment and completeness. I still believe this. Bishop Carroll has never restricted a student to one manner of thinking or one mode of action. Bishop Carroll has never denied individuality or attempted to suppress innovative behavior. The school has only continued to offer knowledge and experience to us. We are freer as a result and more capable of growth. The French philosopher Voltaire has written, "Liberty of the thought is life of the soul." It is the life of Bishop Carroll as well. Without the liberty of thought, without the many chances to ask questions and to consider points and to learn, the lot of us assembled here would not be a community of unique students celebrating a graduation. We would be robots, composed of identical standard parts, and our diplomas would be little more than tags at the end of an assembly line. Second, I think that we must assume the responsibility of our freedom, and that responsibility is expressed chiefly in our power of choice. Psychologist Carroll writes, "I am an architect of myself. Through accepting my individuality, I shape my goals and desires. I am not compelled to be a victim of unknown forces in myself. I am not compelled to be simply a creature of others, molded by their experiences and shaped by their demands. If for nothing else, we are accountable for the state of ourselves. Bishop Carroll has given us the tools and resources to be architects of self. We must make the reasonable and thoughtful decisions as to the design. We may choose to be unambitious and resigned after high school, or we may choose to continue to develop. In the face of a new environment, be that a college or a trade school or a career, we may choose to cling to an unliving past, or we may choose to embrace the possibilities of the future. We may choose, in the words of St. Paul, to talk like a child, think like a child, reason like a child, or we may choose to put childish ways aside. But please consider, a great investment of energy and time and money has been made in us by Bishop Carroll and our family and our friends. We have no right to choose mediocrity over excellence or stagnation over enrichment. We have been offered so much. To choose to forsake it would be the worst ingratitude. Last, I think that all of us have dreadfully misunderstood the meaning of a graduation. Our thoughts and our feelings are now dominated by a sense of loss and a sense of ending. This should not be. We have reached the point for which we have struggled since the first homeroom period of our freshman year. We are not bidding farewell to our memories. We are incorporating those people and those events into our personalities, and we are moving on. It is time. With some we shall remain in closer contact than others, but none, I think, will be forgotten. I personally am amazed and astounded by that limitless something that awaits us beyond those doors. I have sadness tonight only for the content person, for contentment stifles the process of improvement, and shortly we will have a marvelous opportunity for improvement. And so, friends, be you classmates or teachers, we say to you good night and goodbye. We will miss your laughter and your spirit and the generous acceptance which you have extended to us. We will miss just as much your differences and your conflicting opinions and the arguments which inevitably arise from these differences. We thank you for what you have contributed to our characters, both as a class and as individuals. We are more than we were because of you. I leave you with a quote from John Milton's Paradise Lost, which I think is most apt. Some natural tears they dropped, but wiped them soon. The world was all before them, where to choose their place of rest, and Providence their guide.
They are awarded to Sean Kylan, valedictorian, and John Dum, salutatorian. The Faber J. Malloy Award is the highest award bestowed on a graduating senior by Bishop Carroll High School. This award is given to the student who best demonstrates the ideals of Bishop Carroll High School. This student must represent high academic standing, excellence in effort, good Christian character, loyalty, leadership, cooperation, self-control, and service to the school and to the community. Each faculty member was asked to nominate 7 seniors for this award. The top 7 students were then placed in the final secret ballot. It is indeed an honor to be nominated for the Reverend Monsignor Faber J. Malloy Award. At this time, we would like the nominated seniors to stand and be recognized. They are Christy Beck, Robert Biter, Tiffany Casey, Meg Fronheiser, Sean Kylan, Mark Ratchford, and Mark Wexel. All right, be seated. The Cardinal O'Hara Award was awarded Wednesday evening, last evening, at the senior banquet to the runner-up of the Faber J. Malloy Award. The runner-up is Meg Fronheiser. Please stand there. Now at this time, we are happy to announce that the 1988 Faber J. Malloy Award is proudly awarded to Robert Biter. The closing remarks, the graduating class of 1988, will now be given by Father Stanley Carson, principal of Bishop Carroll High School.
We're at the third station. First of all, words of gratitude to Bishop Joseph. Once again, you have graced us with your presence. To Sister Charmaine, we thank you for your support and your presence here also. I would also like to thank the members of the National Honor Society who acted as ushers and the members of the band. Thank you. It's time for a 9 o'clock report. First, a confession, then a profession. what I'd like to confess is this. There are occupational hazards in being a principal, one of which is you might have a heart attack and die. And we've had principals who have had heart attacks, but they did not die. But then there's a more serious occupational hazard in being a principal, and it's a type of blindness. Because you see, in being a principal, in dealing with those students who might choose to abuse drugs and alcohol, a principal can fail to see those who live their lives freely and without addiction. In dealing with those who choose to be dishonest, a principal may be blind to those who are truthful. In dealing with those who disrespect people and property, a principal can ignore those who treat all people with fragile dignity and all things with great honor. And so my confession is this. There have been times when I, as the principal of Bishop Carroll High School, have allowed a few to distract me from the many. And so I ask your pardon for my blindness. Good shepherds need to make time to take care of the good sheep, as well as those who go into the briars. And so much for my confession. I admit it's not as spicy as Gary Hart's, but it's 10 times more sincere. And now for my profession. I openly declare that the diploma you hold in your hand is not a gift. You earned it. Because you see, the diploma is not an empty sign, it has meaning. You have completed the requirements of the state, and you have met the expectations of Bishop Carroll High School. Congratulations for what you hold in your hands. Congratulations for what you have earned. Secondly, I openly declare that Bishop Carroll High School is the best secondary school in central and northern Cambria County. And I say that not because we have the best equipment, the fact is we don't, and not because we might have the highest and always the best test scores, because so often that depends upon the class or the student. We are the best because we are the most complete. We try to touch and to teach the whole person, intellectually, socially, physically, and most of all, spiritually. We try to touch and to teach with the Spirit of Jesus Christ. And there is no greater good than to meet Jesus. And Bishop Carroll is the best, it's the greatest, because we have sought to serve you. And there is no greater type of love than to lay down one's life for those one loves. Your parents, the people of your parish, and your friends, in one way or another, have laid down their lives for you. Thirdly, I openly declare that while your diploma is not a gift, your parents are. The folks who are sitting behind you tonight love you more deeply and more faithfully than anyone else in your life. They are the ones who held you by your fingertips as you made your first steps. And they are the ones who held that bicycle seat as you went on your first solo run. They are the ones who are so terribly proud of you tonight. So after it's all over, give them the pleasure of a kiss and hug of gratitude. And finally, I openly declare that you, the graduation class of 1988, are by far one of the most talented classes in the history of Bishop Carroll High School. I'm partial to the class of 1971. Some people leave impressions like footprints in the sand that are quickly washed away by the sea. Other people become part of our hearts. People become carved in the palm of our hand. You have become a part of our hearts. The quiet ones as well as the loud ones, you who carry instruments and you who carry tools, you saintly ones and you mischievous ones, you who are the brightest and you who have tried your best. And so, I have no announcements about the dress code. I have no announcement about candy sales. I have nothing to say about ships carrying bulls. I profess and I openly declare that you are graduates of Bishop Carroll High School. May God keep you in his care.
I have a short announcement. Will all the students who have received awards this evening please return to the stage immediately after the procession for the pictures? Now will all graduates please move your tassels? Please stand and join our graduates in the singing of the Bishop Carroll Alma Mater.